feel like it's important to share my story because I don't want anyone else to have to go through what I went through with what my children went through. I feel like if I share my story that someone can get something from it and find hope and find belief that there is a better end to this. As scary as it is, as hard as it is, it's worth it. I wanted to be a good mom, and I didn't think that I could be a good mom alone. I felt like I needed a partner. I wanted a partner. So my biggest fear is failure of my kids. Ideally, I just want them all to find healthy, good relationships. You know, I talk to my kids a lot about domestic violence because I know statistic-wise they are at a risk and end up being in a domestic violent marriage, whether they become abusers or they become abused. My biggest dream for them is to have none of that. Well, moving forward is every day. I mean, every day it's not easy, and I don't want to give anyone the idea that it's easy, because it's not. And on my hardest of days, which I just had some, I have to remind myself that I'm still alive. You know, I always think, oh, it wasn't that bad, because you see stories where it's so much worse than mine, but mine was that bad. It really was. And I really could have died at his hands. And so my motivation to tell my story is to stop somebody else from having to go through that. But also it reminds myself how far I've come. You know, some days I'm like, oh my gosh, I haven't gotten anywhere, but I'm still alive and I'm thriving. He told me I would be nothing without him. I sure as heck am more than nothing without him, and I'm doing it. I don't know how some days, but I'm doing it. For me, I think illuminate means to spread out and show the world, you know, what it really is like for people that go through domestic violence. So often you hear people say, well, why didn't she just leave? They need to realize that it's not easy just leaving. Really, the awareness is such a big thing. People don't want to talk about domestic violence. They don't want to hear your story. They don't want to know that it happened. They just want you to live your life quietly and keep going on. And I want the world to learn that, you know, domestic violence happens every day in homes, and that people need other people to help one another. Harbor House saved me in the way that I didn't feel alone. I didn't want to go to Harbor House. I wasn't ready to admit that I was one of them. I was somebody that was affected by domestic violence, and I kind of wanted to just quietly escaped it. And then I realized I couldn't do it by myself. And one night I made a phone call to Harbor House, and they said, let us help you make an appointment to come meet with somebody. And it was the best thing that happened to me. My best advice would be to talk to somebody, preferably somebody from Harbor House that has the knowledge. But if they're not ready for that, talk to somebody to help them come up with a safety plan to get out. My name is Heather, and I'm a survivor of domestic violence.